So tell me if you've ever read these books. Have you ever read Eat That Frog by Brian Tracy? Or have you ever read 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey? Or my personal favorite, Atomic Habits by James Clear? And you still struggle with time management? If so, this is going to be the podcast for you. My goal is to show you guys how to manage your time on a different angle, right? We're going to take a different twist to how we manage our time. Because there's a good chance you know exactly what to do, but there's still something getting in the way. And the podcast is going to show you guys how to do that. Now, the purpose of this show is to actually give you guys all the tips and every technique that I give in my therapy sessions, but here on this platform. The reason why is because for a lot of people, they're either afraid to go to therapy or they've gone and they didn't have a great experience. So my job is twofold. It's either to introduce you to therapy or to reintroduce you to therapy to get you back into the scenes of mental health. So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and just jump to straight point number 1. And I want to talk to you guys about this game that I used to see played in elementary school. Specifically, I would see a lot of the girls play this. And it's this game called Double Dutch. And if you don't know what Double Dutch is, it's where 2 girls, they have this rope and they're twirling it, right? And then someone wants to jump in and jump between the 2 ropes that are being swung. Now, the goal of this is to stay jumping as long as you can so that you can be the winner, right? Because everyone's trying to see who can go the longest. Now, before someone starts the game, before the girl or the guy, whoever jumps into the ropes that's being twirled, a lot of times they're timing their jump. They're kind of hesitating, they're rocking back and forth, and then eventually they jump in. Now, what does this have to do with time management and all that stuff? Well, the reason why someone's hesitating to jump in is because they're nervous. They're afraid. They don't want to get hit by the rope and have to start all over. I want you guys to think about this. Think about how long someone has been waiting to jump into a certain action, task, maybe a conversation that they know they need to have, but yet they've been holding themselves back. It's kind of like that game of Double Dutch. And that's what I see a lot when it comes to time management. Someone can have all the tools, they have the time carved out, right? So let's say it's a 2-hour block to do a show like this, but yet they still come up null. They don't have the podcast done and they go back to the drawing board thinking, man, there has to be a better way to manage my time. Well, chances are you've done it right. You have the tools, you've created the space, but yet it's the fear that's getting in the way. And that's what I want to tell you guys about point number 1. When it comes to managing your time, becoming more productive, I need you guys to actually manage your fear. That's the big thing I want you guys to focus on. Because the biggest load of BS, and I say this sometimes to my clients, is when someone says, I'm a procrastinator. You are lying. You are not a procrastinator. You're just nervous. And the thing is that it's so much easier to say that you're a procrastinator rather than nervous, because being a procrastinator gives you this shield to hide behind. If you're afraid, it's okay. And honestly, the quicker you can say you're afraid, the quicker you actually move past it. In a previous podcast, I talked about how if you do not name it, you cannot claim it, right? If you can't name the fears and all those things, you can't claim it. You can't possess it and make it bend to your will. If you're nervous to even say that you're afraid, then how are you going to expect yourself to get past it? So that's what I want you guys to think about. How do I manage my fears? And the thing that's going to help you to do that is actually to stop consulting with your current self and start consulting with your future self. And that's going to be the trick for number 1. I want you guys to start consulting with your future self and what it is that they want us to do. Because here's the thing, there's a part of you literally right now, if you could go back to yourself 5 years ago and say, hey, I need you to do this with all your might. Whether it's investing in a stock, but you were too nervous that you were gonna lose your money. Maybe it was dumping someone that you thought was good for you, but they turned out being absolute trash. Or maybe it was a business idea that you knew you should have started, but someone else started it and you're like, damn it, I had that idea 5 years ago. There's a part of you right now that's looking back at you today, the same way that you were looking back at yourself 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and they are just as adamant as ever. My thing is, I need you to listen to them. And that's what's gonna help you to jump inside those hula hoops, right? Or those ropes that's being twirled and start jumping, right? Start taking action. And that's gonna be the first point that I want you guys to do. And I hope you guys listen to me when I say that. If there's not anything you hear, that point, right, is gonna be able to help crush all the time management pieces that you feel that you're forgetting. Now, I wanna go to point number 2. And if you know me, you know that I'm a big World War II history buff. Like I absolutely love it. I actually love World War II history so much that I'm actually going to Europe in April, right? So I'm going to Poland because I'm gonna go to Auschwitz, where the concentration camp was held, one of the biggest ones that was held. Then I'm going to Berlin, then I'm going to Amsterdam, and then I'm ending in Normandy, where all the wars for D-Day, right? All the battles from D-Day took place. Now, I bring that up because there's something really fascinating that happened. Really, it's a book that I read, and it's called Man's Search for Meaning. Now, in this book, there is a Jewish psychiatrist, and he's in Auschwitz, right? So the baddest of the bad camps, right? Where people are just getting killed every single day. He was at this camp, and what he realized is that when people lost their sense of hope, when people felt they had no meaning in life, very soon after, they would die. But if they could find meaning, they're able to get through the worst of the worst times. And that's what I want to talk to you guys about here. In the book, there's actually a quote that he read: "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." And it's from a guy named Friedrich Nietzsche, if I'm saying that correctly. Now, what does this have to do with time management? Well, when you're looking at your to-do list, your task list or whatever, right? I want you guys to ask yourself, how many things are connected to my why? Am I filling my list up with tasks that are meaningless, that doesn't affect or help me but help someone else, right? If so, I need you guys to be very, let's say, brutal when it comes to managing your tasks. Because if you find yourself being filled with not only meaningless tasks, but tasks from other people, then I need to ask you to redefine your why. Your why is going to help you to do the things that are uncomfortable, just like we talked in the first point, but also it's going to help to align your day with the most important task. Now, for me, the way that I line my day up is I start off with the most meaningful thing at the beginning. Now, for you, you may say, hey, the most meaningful thing may be the most taxing thing. A great example would be doing video content. If you're someone that struggles with that, you may need a warm up. So what that warm up may be is doing your outline. Maybe it's doing some YouTube shorts or 60-second videos before you do a long form content. Whatever it is to get you warmed up, do it. And then jump into the big why. Because if not, you're gonna find yourself not having time for the important things because you're getting bogged down with other people's mess or lousy things to do. So I want you guys to start to ask yourself, what is my why behind whether it's my career, business, my life, all those things, and start to look at your to-do list from that lens, all right? Do it that way. Trust me, you will find the time. That being said, man, I'm gonna talk about the last point. And this is actually a technique that I do in my therapy session. So if you're a client of mine, heard this. If not, and if you've never been to therapy, welcome to your first therapy session. So what I tell my clients to do, and I want you guys to do this with me, I want you to imagine that you're going to the movies, right? So imagine what the seats look like, the walls, right? Can you smell the popcorn that's in the air? I want you guys to really imagine yourself being at the movies, and you're all by yourself, right? You're in this movie theater all by yourself, and you're sitting right at the top, right in the middle, right? So one of the best seats in the house. And I want you guys to imagine seeing the lights dim and the movie starting to be played. And this movie that's being played is not just any movie, but it's the movie of your life. It's literally the movie of your life, right? And there's a carbon copy of you in the movie. And what I want you guys to do is to imagine watching that movie from the beginning to the end, noticing all the important parts, right? So good, bad, even the stuff in between. And I want you guys to just notice what emotions come up as you watch this movie. And as you're watching this movie, ask yourself, how do you feel about the main character in this movie? Are you frustrated with them? Are you happy with them? Do you have empathy or sympathy for them? Do you understand them? Does everything they do seem bizarre, like when people run towards the screams and horror versus running away from it? What is it that you feel towards the main character? And then I would ask, how would you like the movie to end, right? What is the ideal ending for this character in this movie? And the ending doesn't have to be them on their deathbed. The movie can end at any time. And then I would ask, what choices, what decisions, what actions would the main character need to make in order to get to this ending? I ask this question to all my clients, and I'm asking it to you because I need you to step away from all the thoughts, feelings, and situations that are getting in the way of you actually being productive. Because again, and tell me if I'm lying when I say this, there have probably been days where your calendar has been clear. Maybe it's on a Saturday, maybe it's on a Sunday, or maybe it was a holiday that you guys were given. And you said, hey, this day I have all intentions to doing this specific goal. But when 9 o'clock comes, 10 o'clock, right, comes, and I mean PM, you look up and you didn't do anything. The reason why is because you're too wrapped up in again, whether it's the thoughts, the feelings, your own situations, right, whatever the mess is. And what I need you to do is to step back from it. And this exercise, it helps you do that. Now, how do I know that this works, right? What is the value of this? How do you implement it, right? Well, there's a good chance you've heard people say things like WWJD or WWGD, so what would Jesus do? Or what would God do? And this question helps you step away and reframe how you're looking at the current problem, how you're looking at the feelings and the thoughts that you're going through. And now you're able to be more proactive, more solutions focused when it comes to the goal that you're trying to accomplish. This helps you to cut through the BS. And that's what I'm trying to get at. When it comes to managing your time, again, you probably have all the skills. You've read all the books, many of the books that I've just mentioned, and then some. So why is it that you still can't manage your time? Well, it's because you're not managing your emotions. And this is a podcast that I did previously that I want you guys to check out. Guys, trust me, the tactics are one thing, right? And I say this to myself and my clients. Knowing is one thing. It's the doing that really matters. So in this last point, I want you guys to start using that exercise. And really the main point for that is I want you guys to develop an insane level of self-awareness. That's going to be the third point. Develop an insane level of self-awareness. And that would help you to see when you're off track when it comes to your task or your productivity for that day, and when you're on task. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to go over these main points again of how to manage your time. The first one, I need you guys to manage your fears, right? All the hesitation that you see someone do in double dutch is probably something that you're doing right now. I just need you to jump in. And once you do that, you'll get into the flow. The second part, and it comes from Viktor Frankl's book, Man's Search for Meaning. He who has a why can bear almost any how. Trust me, if you start looking at your to-do list, if you start looking at your day in terms of how much of my whys are composed of it, you'll see how much you're BSing yourself or how much other people are getting in your way. And the last point that I just mentioned, I need you to develop an insane level of self-awareness. And this comes from the movie Exercise, okay? And this is a component from acceptance and commitment therapy, something that I practice with my clients. So notice in this podcast, when we talked about time management, productivity, we did not get into the brass topics, right? The brass tactics, if you will, because there's a good chance you know about it. We talked about everything except the X's and O's. And if you follow football, you know it's more about the Jimmys and the Joes, meaning it's all about what's up here, right? It's all about the mindset rather than the tactics, because there's, again, a difference between knowing and doing. And a big part of that is having this on par. So with that being said, check out the next podcast. Also, I mentioned a podcast in this episode that you check out when it comes to managing your emotions. Make sure you check that out. And with that being said, guys, take care. All right, see you.